Hey guys, welcome back. And one of the things you need to know about me is when I start something new, I tend to obsess a lot about it, and I research and I research and I research and I talk to people, and then I go back and do more research, and then I go back and talk to people. And one of the things that has really been sticking with me is detailing cars. And I don't know why, but lately it's just been on my mind of how I want to, make my car last a long time and look the best as much as possible. And I just finished clay barring the entire Corvette. As you can tell, it looks really, really good. I don't know if I just picked the right one or what, but this one has like no scratches, virtually no squirrel marks. I turned the lights off and did the LED light trick and everything. And hey, look at this. I mean, everybody says these are rock magnets. Not a single rock magnet. Look at that. I mean, it's flipping incredible. So anyway, I did all the hard work for you, and I sifted through all the stuff and I condensed it down to some really kind of basic stuff. So today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be color correcting, or what we used to call buffing. I used to be with it, and then I got old, and then they changed what it was, and now it's old. I'm old, and change is scary and unknown. So I guess I'm going to try it on my own. So I've got my buffing buffer down there. I've also got boatloads of microfibers, and today I'm going to be using the 205, which is a pretty mild buff. Through kind of looking at this and looking at kind of the paint and looking at kind of what condition it was in, I didn't need to go anything more kind of aggressive than a Griot's. Well then, that didn't work. So I didn't need to go. I didn't need to go more aggressive than this orange pad. I could have gone a more aggressive pad had the paint been in worse condition, and probably used a 105 Meguiar's with like a black pad, or kind of more of a cutting pad with a thicker not foam, but more of an aggressive cut to it. I could have done that, but the paint is actually in relatively good shape. So all I need to do is really polish it before I do the ceramic coat. That's the ultimate goal. We want to get this completely ceramic coated before winter, and hopefully that'll make it last a couple years, and it'll look good, and it keeps that really deep wet part of it. So let's run through the basics. I got a lot of work ahead of me, but I want to show you kind of what the process is. All right, so what I've got my Meguiar's 205 plus an orange. This is a polishing pad, and you can tell I've already put it's not orange, it's white up here because I've already kind of pre-treated this because it wants to soak in and eat up all your material here. So what I'm going to do is just going to take some of my stuff, kind of spread it around a little bit like so. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of dab it along the way, right? Kind of do that, and then I'm going to turn it way down to like a one, maybe one click. Okay, so top tip, always get this started on the material, which don't do what I did, and stop it on the material, because if it's moving while you've got material on there, it's going to spray. Now I thankfully didn't get sprayed this time, but if you pull it off and this thing's still rotating, it's going to fling stuff everywhere, and it's going to ruin your process. So now that I've got it kind of spread out in my kind of 2 by 2, 2 foot by 1 foot area, I'm going to crank it up a little bit to 4, maybe 4.5. Again, we're going to start on it, right? And we're going to turn it on. Okay, there we go. You see this kind of hazing effect to it? That's completely normal. That's what you want to see. I'm going to take my microfiber, just gently wipe it away before it dries. It's starting to dry pretty quickly here in the warm temperature. Okay. I don't really have a side-by-side because the paint on this is really good, so I'm not really doing much here, but you know, you can kind of see it a little bit. It's a little bit dark here, and then let me show you. It's a little bit dark here, and then not so dark here. It's kind of hard to see, but long and short of it is there's a faint line here. Now the idea here is I want to get this as perfect, as smooth as possible, because as soon as I ceramic coat it, it's going to lock it in there. It's just going to soak it right in. So what's going to happen is eventually over time is your pad here is going to get soaked with material. And let me show you how to get that out. Okay, so the easiest way to get rid of kind of this stuff is you need to take an air hose and an air compressor, and with a nozzle on the end of it. Now I don't have a ton on here, so I'm not sure how much is going to come off, but you know, start out in the ends, just like that. You saw it all spray and kick everywhere. So top tip. Do this where you don't have a lot of tools and a lot of stuff that you're going to get junk on. Whoops. Anyway, learn from me, kids. Don't do what I do. All right, folks, another quick top tip here, okay? So this car has some vinyl on it. This has a vinyl stripe, 2 of them, as a matter of fact, that go through the length of the car. And as I was, you know, kind of polishing with the pad here, you'll notice that it starts to pick up little tiny bits of the glue or the paint or whatever, but it starts to pick it up on here. So real carefully, you got to be careful around vinyl stuff or vinyl stickers, or you know, even logos. Like we got this logo here, you know, especially if you're going aggressive with this, make sure when you go around it, either hand do this part or, you know, go very, very carefully, because I started picking up little bits of junk in my pad and I had to clean it off. And that, you know, will eventually, if you don't get it off, will get into your paint. So this is what we're talking about here. You can see in the light, so I've got an LED light overhead that's pretty bright, but you can start to see little tiny swirl marks all the way around. And hopefully this will get rid of those, because this top is different paint than this stuff over here. So I just polished this stuff. Look how shiny that is. Yeah. To over here where you can see the little tiny stuff, and when we do the ceramic coat, it's going to bake it in there. So I want to make sure that this is perfect. I'm going to hit it one time with it, and I'll show you how it did. Alright, so this was just one pass, and you can, hopefully this will come up on camera, but you don't see the nearly as many. I'd say 90 to 95% of the swirl marks are gone, and now we're much more mirror-like on this black. That was just from one hit of, you know, an orange pad in Meguiar's 205, so that wasn't a, you know, super aggressive deal. Now, if you had more scratches, or if you're talking about my daily car that doesn't get a lot of, you know, care and polish and sit in the garage its whole life, you know, you probably want to be more aggressive, maybe to go a 105 and then a 205 with a really aggressive pad and then the polishing pad. But for now, I'm going to hit it one more time, and you can tell I got a little happy with the polishing compound, so I'm going to have to come back and fix that, which is always just a lovely time. But I would say that this right here was great for a first pass. I'll do one more pass, and I think I'm going to call this part good. Okay, another thing you're going to notice here is, notice the pad is no longer orange. Okay, you're going to notice that it's going to turn whatever color you're polishing and buffing. Because remember, this is the original orange color right there, and that's what it's turning into. Now I've cleaned this 2 or 3 times, and you're still going to get little bits of that. And the reason why is because the paint comes through the clear coat. You're thinking, well, the clear coat sits on top of the black. Well, yes and no. It can kind of bleed itself through, and what you're doing is you're cutting through the clear coat, a very minuscule, tiny amount, but that black starts to bleed through, and this will start to turn whatever color you're painting, even though you've got clear coat right over the top. Now I want to look at some of these results. Yeah, right? Holy cow. And that's just one, you know, quick pass. I might go another pass too, but just like a flippin' mirror, right? This is why we do it.